JBNN keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones. Before we get into the news, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the news with someone today. Now on to the news. Man shot and killed by police in Spanish Town. A St. Catherine man was shot and killed in an alleged confrontation with police in Spanish Town on Thursday. He has been identified as Ricardo Alexander Powell, otherwise called Koji, of Belmore Lane, Spanish Town. Reports are that at about 5:30 a.m., police personnel armed with a search warrant went to Belmore Lane, and upon entering a house, Powell was seen with a gun in his hand. He reportedly fired at the police team, and the police took evasive action and returned the fire. Powell was shot and injured during the alleged confrontation. The police said they retrieved a Taurus .380 pistol loaded with 4 rounds of ammunition and 1 spent casing. Powell was taken to the Spanish Town Hospital where he was pronounced dead. The Independent Commission of Investigations (INDECOM) has launched a probe into the matter. Man stabbed to death in Mandeville, suspect charged. A Manchester man has been charged with murder after he allegedly stabbed a man to death in Mandeville on Monday. Charged with murder is 22-year-old Javon Nicholson, a resident of Walthamouth District in Porus. He is charged with the murder of 29-year-old Renardo Lewin, otherwise called Joker, a resident of Winglade, Manchester. A police report said at about 5:20 a.m., Lewin and Nicholson got into a dispute at an establishment on Tudor Avenue off Ward Avenue. Nicholson reportedly used a knife to stab Lewin multiple times. Lewin was pronounced at hospital. Nicholson was also injured and was treated at hospital. The incident is the first reported murder in Manchester since the start of the year. Man fatally shot in confrontation with police on Washington Boulevard. The police are reporting that a man was fatally shot during a confrontation with officers on Washington Boulevard near Royal Crescent in St. Andrew on Tuesday night. Reports said that officers from the Area 4 Fugitive Apprehension Team were on patrol when they noticed a man acting suspiciously. Upon spotting the police, the man reportedly fled into a nearby premises and then attempted to escape onto Washington Boulevard where he opened fire on the officers. The police said they returned fire and he was shot and injured. He was taken to the Kingston Public Hospital where he was pronounced dead. The incident happened around 9:50 p.m. The police said a Taurus 9mm pistol with 4 rounds of ammunition was also recovered from the scene. The police are once again urging the public to give up guns through the Get the Guns campaign and warned against harboring criminals or illegal guns. Those listed as wanted or persons of interest are encouraged to surrender peacefully rather than challenge law enforcement. The police will not back down or be outgunned. We will win, the police said. Gun school charged with firearm offenses. A 25-year-old Higgler has been charged with gun-related offenses following a late-night incident. Aaron Leslie, otherwise known as Gun School of Delacree Lane, Kingston 11, was held by police on Thursday following a snap raid that was conducted in the community. Reports from the Hunts Bay Criminal Investigation Branch are that earlier this year, a man was standing outside his gate when 2 men were observed jogging towards him. Upon reaching very close to the man, Leslie reportedly pointed a gun at him. In fear for his life, the man ran and escaped unhurt. A report was made to the police on Monday, February 3. Leslie was accosted and taken into custody. He was formally charged after a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. Leslie has been charged with possession of a prohibited weapon, using a firearm to commit a felony, and assault of common law. Police seek to reassure retirement primary amid attacks by a mentally ill man. Police officers have visited retirement primary and infant school in St. Elizabeth to provide reassurance following safety concerns over the repeated invasion of the school by a mentally ill man. The machete-wielding man has invaded the school on at least 3 occasions since 2022, the most recent being last week when a wounded and ancillary worker who attempted to confront him. Since that incident, parents have expressed fear about the safety of their children while at school and have called for the Ministry of Education to make good on its promise to build a perimeter fence. They have also claimed that the police are not doing enough to address the threat posed by the intruder. Addressing the monthly meeting of the St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation on Thursday, Superintendent Coolidge Minto, commanding officer for the division, said the police are addressing the matter.
As we speak, a team of officers led by Operations Officer D.S.B. Brown, as well as the members of the Community Safety and Security arm of the division, are currently at the school and in the space as part of the intervention. I would have also had dialogue with the Director of Safety and Security in the Ministry of Education on the matter, and would have held discussion with representatives from the Ministry of Health.
Government reiterates plan to buy 100 additional buses for JUTC. The government has reiterated plans to purchase another 100 new buses for the public transportation sector in the upcoming fiscal year, which begins April 1. The acquisition for the Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC will cost $3 billion, and the buses are slated for delivery in July, said Costas of Kingston Stedman Fuller, who was delivering the annual throne speech marking the start of the new parliamentary year. 10 of the buses will be specially fitted for persons with disabilities. It is expected to push the number of buses acquired by the government for the public transportation sector in the last 24 months to 250. Government was warned. Opposition weighs in on proposed changes to Firearms Act. The parliamentary opposition says the government was warned about the possible ill effects of the new firearms legislation on the court system. Among the top legislative priorities for the government for the upcoming fiscal year is the upgrading of the Firearms Prohibition, Restriction and Regulation Act, which took effect in November 2022, providing tougher punishments for gun-related crimes. Costas of Kingston Stedman Fuller, who delivered the throne speech on Thursday on behalf of Governor General Sir Patrick Allen, said the upgrades will facilitate persons pleading guilty.
For the 2025-2026 year, legislative priorities include updates to the Firearms Act to include a framework for plea negotiations, among other things. This is consequent to the effectiveness of the new mandatory minimum penalty, which has increased the level of interest among accused persons in entering guilty pleas.
Responding to the announcement, Opposition leader Mark Golding said the government created a problem that it is now attempting to fix.
I was very clear that it was going to create a big problem in the court system, and that's exactly what has happened. Because when people are facing a 15-year minimum sentence for possession of a firearm, and regardless of the circumstances, there is absolutely no incentive to do anything other than go to trial and try and win the case. And so we had introduced in 2015 legislation that allowed people to seek a discount on sentence by pleading guilty as early as possible in the court proceeding, and that was a very successful measure in reducing the backlog of criminal cases in the gun court and in the parish courts. This legislation has basically put a block on that. They realize that it's untenable, so that is why they're seeking to amend it. We don't know exactly what they're trying to do. It is quite clear that what they've done is having a deleterious effect on the court system and has to be fixed.
PM Molness defends the government's management of the economy.
Incredible budget, and there are some points which we should note and note very well. Firstly, the budget for last year, for this fiscal year rather, has provisions for $317 billion in the principal portion of our debt repayment. This year, we have $163 billion for the principal portion of debt repayment. That means that we are paying back this year much less debt than we paid back last year. That's significant, right? So we are paying back $154 billion less. In terms of interest payments, last year we had $182 billion in the budget, meaning this budget here, which is about to be closed, $182 billion. In the next budget to come, which we have just presented, we are only paying $177 billion in debt, almost $4 billion less.
Each and every month.
So what that means is that the money that we would have had to pay for debt in the current fiscal year coming to a close, we don't have that stress on us anymore. It means our total debt is going down, and when your debt is going down, you have more money in your pocket to do things like what we are doing here, building social housing. So think of it this way. Many of you here are probably members of the credit union, and some of you may have gone and borrowed from the credit union. Some of you borrow from the same day loan people, and you have to pay that back in installments every month. And while you are paying it back, you have less money for supermarket, less money for school fee, less money for lunch money, and certainly less money for going to dance and party and pretty hair and clothes. Right? But the day you pay it off, in fact, the last day of it when you pay it off, all of a sudden, you now have that money that you used to pay. And now you can decide what you're going to do with it. Either you're going to use it and pay school fee, buy school uniform, buy more food, or you're going to use it and go party and buy pretty hair and clothes. It's a choice we have. But as a country, we have chosen to spend what they call now the new space that has been created in the budget. We have chosen to spend that on things like the new social housing program, to provide a house for 84-year-old double amputee Herman Brian, so that he can benefit. I want you here to make the connection between good economic management and the provision in not just a one-off, but in a sustainable and enduring way, benefits for you. Last thing, I've seen reports suggesting that the economy is in recession. Recessions are a natural part of what is called the business cycle. Sometimes the economy goes up, sometimes it goes down. Under the PNP, the economy never went up. It was always either flatlining or declining. What we have managed to achieve here in Jamaica is a resilient economy, meaning that when unexpected things occur, we are able to respond to it, absorb the shock, and grow after. So there was an unexpected thing that happened in September, in July, in November of 2024. We had a hurricane, and that hurricane damaged significantly the agriculture sector. It disrupted electricity supply and created great damage, particularly along the south coast and the southwest coast of the island. Now, that has an impact on economic performance. And then we had a sustained period of rains leading to another tropical storm, Raphael, which again impacted the agriculture sector, impacted tourism, impacted commerce in general. But not only that, it destroyed our road network. And this government has been able to deal with everybody who was affected by the hurricane. Over 14,000 persons have benefited with not some small grant, big grants like $400,000 to repair their homes. And it is still going on now. We're still in the field helping people who have not yet got their grants. We have assisted the farmers, and the farmers, I must thank the farmers, they went back out into the field and they have started to produce again. The latest report on consumer confidence and business confidence shows that both are rising, so that the outlook and the expectation of people is that the economy is going to do well. Jamaica is not in a recession. Recession is not only that economic growth has declined for 2 quarters. It is a necessary condition if you want to say that there is a recession, but it's not sufficient, because you need to look at other variables, other factors. Unemployment. If the economy declines significantly, then you would expect to see a rise in unemployment. That is not happening. Consistently, we are showing very good unemployment figures. And in fact, we have been showing consistently for the last decade a decline in unemployment, and we are now at the lowest ever unemployment figure. When you look at businesses going, as I stand here, I see several trucks passing with aggregate. Where are they going to with the aggregate? They're going to build. So people are investing, people are building. So the economy is growing still, right? The challenge is that we have been hit by some shocks. And we are existing in a time when we will have quite a bit of shocks. And our mindset and mentality must change. We must be able to stand up and take the blows, absorb them, get back on our feet and grow. Nobody is coming to save us. Nobody is giving us any favors. It's a new world. And this administration recognized that long ago, which is why we have been preaching to you, the people. We want you to be economically independent. That is what we want you to be, economically independent. You can stand on your own 2 feet, earn your own income, push your own key, make your own decisions. The Jamaica Labour Party, the government that I represent, has changed the mentality of Jamaicans. Amen. We don't believe in dependency.
JBN will keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.